You've seen the disturbing video, rogue ISIS drones targeting coalition troops overseas as the terrorist group, ISIS, calls for more attacks worldwide.
Here at home, a new device is being tested that's going to allow the military to zap those drones out of the sky and send them back from where they came.
Well, that's interesting. Here to show us how it works is former Special Ops and Intel analyst himself, drone operator Brett Velikovich. Brett, great to see you.
Nice to see you.
You talked to us about how you're using drones to hit Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Now you're seeing how we could stop the drones from hitting us.
Exactly. And look, I brought you guys the future of warfare right here.
The drone killer.
The drone killer. It's made by guys from IXI Technologies, former Lockheed Martin engineers that have basically repurposed the same technology that's used to detect North Korea's ballistic missiles and has been repurposed to be able to detect drones from up to a mile away. And then it actually has a transmitter that will fire a radio frequency energy.
Okay.
Right.
So it's not a laser. Nothing comes shooting out of that other than beams of
exactly.
sound.
It's a drone gun without any bullets. So it's actually transmitting radio frequencies to essentially jam the signal of that drone as it's flying in the air. And so what will happen is one of two things. You can actually make it so the drone just crashes, or you can actually trigger the drone and overtake its signal so that it will return back to base and potentially, go back to the operator.
And blow that person up.
Hopefully.
Right. Do you have to hit it like a laser, or do you flood the area? Because it's hard to see a drone, right?
Absolutely. And so one of the great things about this is that it'll actually detect it even if you can't see it. And then you could fire, and it's an incredibly powerful device. In fact, one of the reasons we're not firing this outside and into the studio right now is it could disrupt all of your Wi-Fi and really even potentially across the street here.
The bosses here, right?
I heard Bill Howard's preparation for his show.
Law enforcement and special ops are buying these, right, to test them, and they're being tested this Sunday at the Chargers game?
Absolutely. So law enforcement, military folks are purchasing these things. What's really interesting is this last Monday, 133 military bases were actually authorized to shoot down consumer drones. That is a big deal. Never before have they been able to do that. If a consumer drone flew over a military base, they couldn't shoot it down. And now they officially have authorization to do stuff like this. And we're going to see this this Sunday for the preseason opener at the Chargers football game.
In what way? What are they doing with it?
Law enforcement officials will have it there just in case any drones fly over the stadium. And that's what this is used for, to protect stadiums.
Safe at concerts, football games, and keep our military bases safe as well.
Absolutely. And so the next time we see a rogue ISIS drone, hopefully the guys overseas have one of these and they can knock it out of the sky.
And even here in the United States, you don't know who the drone operator is. They might have something on it, and that's why they're going to keep an eye on them.
Right, and I think that's the thing. I mean, this isn't just for law enforcement personnel. We're really hoping the Trump administration at some point will open up these archaic regulations that exist that allow it not to be used in certain places in the U.S.
What do you mean?
So right now, it's currently can only be used for law enforcement, military personnel, and they have to request certificates of authorization to be actually fire the device. One day, I think we will see the time when this is used by the private sector, by everyday citizens, maybe even a farmer that's protecting his crops, things like that. So,
would a BB gun not work?
Well, I have seen.
My dad might try.
I have seen a gun shoot a drone and it still flew. So this can actually zap 20 drones in the sky at the same time because it's firing a constant beam at it.
Right, and it's the same technology that we have used over in the theater of war regarding IEDs and other stuff, right?
Very, very similar. So just like, similar concept to jamming. It's actually jamming a bunch of radio frequencies, so it disrupts that signal from the operator to the drone.
What have we been jamming ever since Brian pulled the trigger? It's still going off.
Right, so it's not on right now, just in case the Wi-Fi in here is still good. TVs are still going, but we have some nice different devices here because it's light and modular. It's meant for infantry guys that are jumping out of a vehicle, and so they have some additional tools here that they can add to the gun, including lights and lasers to focus it. Does it blow up
in midair, or does it just crash to the
ground?
It will either crash by jamming, overtaking the GPS, or it's going to basically just disrupt the signal, in which case this drone will lift off and it will actually return back to base. And that's a typical safety feature.
Put a video camera on top of it, shoot a video camera on top of it so we see where it goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And all these cameras here, they're high definition, they're high 4K video, they're streaming live. And eventually these will be able to actually detect when a video camera is live streaming.
And Brett, of course, you're the expert because you did this for us, for the American military, in order to shoot down Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and anybody else who gets in your way, right?
Yeah.
It's all in your book, Drone Warrior.
He wrote the book on drones. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.